Hello, it's Lou Collins. I've got a sketch for you today. This is downloadable on CraftWorld. You can find it there along with lots of other sketches as well, and every fortnight I show you how I adapt one of these sketches into a card or a scrapbook page or even a journal page we had the other week. So just to give you a little bit of a mojo kicker, starter, just something to boost your creativity if you're kind of lacking in inspiration lately. Sketches are a great way to do that. Very often you'll find a sketch as an article in a magazine as well, in things like Simply Cards and Papercraft, where people show you their take on a particular sketch. And with a sketch you can adapt it as well, so you can create the base into a circle or a square or a different orientation. You can always turn the sketches as well. It's just a starting point for you. So this is the one I'm using. I'm going to be working on a white card base, and I've decided to use what's left of the Textures Bookshop collection. Now, half the collection has sold out. There's a few elements of these left now, not much, so I'm just going to use what is left. So as I said, the card base, that's going to be this large rectangle around the outside. Then the bigger square in the background is going to be this heart shape. As I say, each of the shapes do not have to be what they are on the sketch. So the square can be a heart or a circle or anything you want it to be. It's just kind of representing a shape and giving you a rough size and maybe location as well. So that big square is going to be one of these hearts. Now I've already pre-die cut these just so that it speeds the process up a little bit. And this die comes in two sections. So you've got the heart there with all the words cut out, which I really love just like that, so you can see the background, but that's not going to work for this particular card because we're going to have a strip behind it anyway. So I'm going to place it onto kind of creamy coloured cardstock there, and then also I've got the solid base again. And that's just going to be a little bit of a kind of dropped shadow just to make that really stand out. So that's going to be this big square in the background. As you can see, there's a strip running behind it. Now that strip doesn't have to be on the diagonal. You don't have to put it in at all if you don't want to. This beauty of sketches, it is just giving you an idea to get started with. So I'm going to put a strip behind, and that's going to be taken from this set again, but these strips, I love these. Now this is quite a wide strip on the sketch, but I'm quite happy to use one of these. If I just show you the kind of width we're looking at. Now this particular one, it does cut the top of the strip of paper along with the little sort of punched holes at the bottom, so you're limited to the width you can do that one in, but I think that would work across the background there just as a bit of texture. What we also have in here is another strip, and this is just the holes, so you could die cut that into absolutely anywhere. It could be into the edge of your card if you want to, because there's no outline to this one. So if you wanted a wider strip, you could use this die to create those punched holes at the top or bottom of it. So I'm going to grab myself one of these. Now I've decided that this is going to be quite subtle, so I'm going to have it in a white or slightly off-white, and just use Distress Oxide in pumice stone just to darken the edges slightly, not too much because it's going onto white anyway. It's going to show up a little bit of a shadow around the edge, but that's about all. I don't want anything to take away too much from the nice brightly coloured heart that's in the middle there. So just brush that around the edges, lift this up. A lot of it will be hidden away, but that's just a bit of texture in the backgrounds there. So that's from that die. Then we've also got another element we've got is this circle. So we've got a strip. Now I'm not sure what I want to do with the strip, to be honest. I could have put, because this is the bookshop collection, I probably would have put the bookmark from the ephemera on there, but unfortunately that's sold out, so I didn't think it was fair for me to use that today with you. So I think I'm actually going to take that block out, and you can do that with sketches. So with a sketch you can decide to leave pieces and even add shapes in if you want to once you get started. But this circle here, so there's a circle, there's a star that represents two shapes, two elements, and then you've got your sentiments. So what I'm going to do is, rather than have this strip down here, I'm going to have the bird. So the bird comes from the layering birds here, layered birds die set. You can create these different birds from all the different shapes, and you've got the instructions on the back there as well to put them together. So I've created a little green birdie there, so that can sit there, and that can kind of be representing the circle there that's got the word sentiment in it. Then I've got a paper clip, so what I thought I'd do is my sentiment, I would paper clip on, and the paper clip will represent the star. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm just going to cut this out. Now what I tend to do is with my stamps, and that's these ones here, I absolutely love these. So these are the sentiments that are kind of like dictionary pieces. So the word celebrate I've got here. I'll just cut this. Now I'm not worried about cutting it exactly because I'll probably rough the edges up anyway. So as long as it's reasonably straight, and large scissors, if you're going to do it by hand, large scissors is the best way to get it quite straight. There we go, and I'll save these pieces for another time. And then I'm just going to open my scissors and, as I say, just rough up the edges a little bit so it just looks like it's been torn out of a dictionary. And around these edges as well. There we go, so just fluffs them up, and you can get paper distressors and things that are a little bit safer than using scissors. Now I could of course tuck that could actually be my strip, couldn't it? That could be my strip. I quite like that. And then we could use this paper clip here. Now I tend to tuck the larger area underneath, so the paper clip could be just sort of, let's move that paper clip actually, let's lift that up and let's put that up here. So you've got the larger area of the paper clip and the smaller one. This has actually come from the same die set again. You can see the paper clip on there, so we're using that die set an awful lot in this. Now I tend to put the larger side underneath and then the bigger side, sorry, the smaller side on top. So there we go, so there we have. So we've got our strip in, we've kind of got our sentiment over on that strip, so that's fine. We've got our bird, which is the circle, and the star I've kind of used as the paper clip, but I've lifted it up because it just fits better there. So you can sort of read the sentiment, but essentially it says celebrate. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue all of this down and then do my finishing touches. So I'm quite happy with that. I love how it looks like the bird is kind of hopping along holding the sentiment. The paper clip's in there as well. The last thing, just to finish off, I'm going to bring some of that brown around into the white of the card because the card's really quite white the rest of the way. So just lifting off, just unscrewing the lid off of an ink spray. So it can be any ink spray. This is a brown because, like I say, the brown is then going to coordinate with the brown that's in the bird. Just flicking over, so just tapping on my finger, excess ink that's kind of sitting on the end of the, I suppose the tube you'd call it, so not in the usual way. If I spray, it's very unpredictable, you get an awful lot of ink out. This way you just splash a few little pieces on there instead. So there we go. So there's our card created from our sketch. Now you can download this sketch on CraftWorld along with lots of other ones as well, and we would love to see what you create in the inspiration gallery.